Welcome to Perspectives in Mobile, the news podcast from the Mobile Ecosystem Forum. Join us discussing the world of telecommunications, technology, and mobile innovations. From London, Dario Betty, MEF CEO.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Perspectives, the podcast from the Mobile Ecosystem Forum that looks at the different vision, different views on the markets that make up the mobile ecosystem. And I'm very glad to welcome today Hugo Marçal, the Wholesale Business Unit Director at Go4Mobility, as well as the General Manager at Sendit, a sister company on Go4Mobility. Now, welcome, Hugo, and thanks for coming and talking to us about one of the key components of the mobile ecosystems and here MEF as well, the business messaging unit. Let me ask you straight away, just for a namesake, we're called Perspectives after all. So what's your perspective on this market, on business messaging? Are we getting towards maturity or is there new life in A2P?
Well, thank you for the invitation, and I'm very glad to be part of this podcast. So yes, as you mentioned, our perspective, we also we always look at the A2P messaging market with very attention, and we choose to see it on an opportunity basis. So I think we are far from getting maturity in this market. So there's plenty of options, plenty of things to do and to explore, many markets to explore and to expand the business. So yes, it's a very interesting business, and we look forward to explore it even more as we do today. So.
Well,
As we have seen in the past years, the global A2P messaging market has been growing a lot, and all researches indicate that it will be continuing to grow. So this is very important for us and for our positioning in the market.
And I was going to say, Go4Mobility, you have an interesting view, both where you start geographically and the kind of applications you do. So I'd like to go back on those and find out that new life. But before I ask you specific questions, maybe it's worthwhile to spend a bit of time telling us a bit more about Go4Mobility active in A2P, but I should also mention short and long numbers, voice solutions. In other questions, how do you define your business? What do you do?
Well, in Go4Mobility, we have the Wholesale Business Unit that where we explore interconnections between mobile operators and other aggregators in the market, both for SMS and for voice. So basically, we have our own SMS and voice gateways, and we provide interconnection for those players to terminate traffic in several countries on a global coverage strategy. So this is basically what we do, and we provide it on a different way in the market because we work very closely with our partners, both customers and suppliers, to achieve maximum traffic quality and performance in every route we provide. So this is basically we do in the Wholesale Business Unit in Go4Mobility. And as you mentioned in the beginning, we also have another business unit that we call Retail, which is a separate brand called Sendit, when we handle the corporate business as well. So those are two complementary business units. On the corporate side, we sell our multi-channel marketing solutions to brands for marketing purposes and operational purposes, like sending two-factor authentication tokens or simply marketing campaigns by SMS, email, or voice as well.
So two different approaches. If you say one is a wholesale access to the networks, and the other one is solutions for the businesses that are out there.
Exactly.
So let's focus on the Go4Mobility, your international and wholesale brand, so to speak. I say international, wholesale, but Go4Mobility, it's specific because it is headquartered in Portugal. So that's something that we haven't seen a lot of Portugal in business messaging. And I need to ask the questions is, tell us a bit more about that market. Describe it, what do you do, and how is it in Portugal business messaging right now?
Yeah, so we started here in Portugal, and we tried to do what every player in this market does. So we try to establish good relationships with all mobile operators here in Portugal to have the quality of the traffic that we provide today to our customers. So this is essential for us, and we have been developing all over the years our solutions to cover all aspects in the messaging business here in Portugal as well. So basically, what we do here is that we have connections with the Portuguese mobile operators, and we provide an SMS gateway that our customers use to send their traffic. So based on that, we have been exploring other solutions, and we have been developing products on the Sendit brand to maximize the volume and the traffic that is sent through us. So along the years, using our internal IT team, we have been developing our SMS gateway, adding several layers of services, both to fight fraud and to achieve better performance. And this is something that is very important and gives trust to our customers as well.
Well, when we were talking before, one thing that you mentioned that I thought it kind of tickled my interest. It might not be on the wholesale side, but you mentioned that in Portugal, some new applications were emerging. And one of them was in e-government, an e-government initiative. Can you tell us a bit more about what else is happening out there in that market?
Well, Portugal has developed several strategies for brands and government institutions to communicate with their users. So basically, SMS is one of those channels that we use a lot, and we provide connections for that a lot. And all those services, both from government, utilities, and retail brands, they always have the same need. They need to deliver the traffic instantly with maximum coverage and with reliability. So this is important, especially when we talk about sensitive use cases like in the bank or insurance companies or government. When we handle two-factor authentication needs or identification as well as a process to identify a subject. And for those use cases, the SMS is very important, and we handle it with very care because we pay special attention and we do all the necessary configurations for the traffic to flow with maximum quality and performance. So those use cases that we pretty much see here in Portugal, but also in other countries all over the world, we try to replicate what we have learned all over these years, and we try to take that coverage, that quality, that performance, not only in Portugal but also in other countries to deliver a service with maximum quality, of course.
So you have mentioned some of the other countries, so probably worthwhile exploring. You are very active in Africa, and if I'm not mistaken, it is mostly active in the Portuguese-speaking Africa and more. But is that, the Angola and Mozambique, is that where you probably can count the biggest penetration of your service?
Yeah, so of course, in this wholesale business, we have global coverage, but in terms of expanding our company and our unit, we have followed a strategy where we first tried to expand to Portuguese-speaking language countries, because it's from a cultural perspective and also a business relationship perspective, it's more easier for us to start business and to achieve our goals. But of course, Africa is such a huge continent. We started with Angola, Mozambique, Cape Verde, São Tomé. So these are the countries where we are most active. But of course, we have, as mentioned before, global coverage in Africa. Those countries are important for us because we started business there, and they gave us the opportunity for us to put in place there the use cases that we have been seeing here in Portugal and in other European countries. So it allowed us not only to prosper in terms of business growing, but also to give to those markets and to those companies there the possibility to grow and to technologically develop their services and brands. And this is also important for us to be on our customers' side and to help them grow as well.
And it must be nice to be active in countries where, if I compare it to Europe, where we see a young population, a growing population, and economic development, the numbers in those countries are showing a nice uplift. I was just looking at MEF data, our services in there, in terms of just of connections. So we are good news in there. So these are lively markets with growing volumes, I guess. Can you tell us a bit of the kind of dynamics you see?
Yes. Well, if we think about Angola and Mozambique, they have a combined population of around 60 million people. But when we think about active mobile users, only 30 to 40% of the population is actually a mobile active user. And less than half of that are people with a data plan, for instance. So the SMS is very important in those regions because when we think about A2P messaging, especially the newer services like RCS or WhatsApp, those communication channels are, of course, extremely important in digital communication strategy for every brand. But when we think about these African markets, the SMS, the simple SMS, is still one of the key communication channels that has a larger penetration and adoption in the market, because as I told moments ago, the number of mobile active users is very low compared to the population that exists in those countries. So for us, it's important to keep growing and to keep taking the SMS services in the messaging ecosystem to those markets.
Now, you mentioned before that there is an interest of developing something, so let's say in your home market, but then bringing it here in terms of use cases. Is there any use cases that is working specifically well in Angola, Mozambique, Cabo Verde? What do you see? Is it two-factor authentication, marketing?
Yes,
where is the traffic?
Yes, basically, from our experience here in Portugal, mostly, we saw that the cooperation with the mobile operators, not only to send SMS traffic, but also to provide two-way messaging services, was created an opportunity for brands to communicate and to have more interaction with their end users. So, starting some years ago, we have been developing the two-way messaging services more here in Portugal and in the other countries where we are established and growing. And those use cases, like in the health sector, where people can confirm an appointment in their doctor and or can provide an answer to a survey, for instance. Here in Portugal, we see this been doing by SMS, but also with other services. But on those African regions, we exported these use cases also for health sector and insurance and banks locally. And this is a huge success case because all those entities adopted our solutions immediately. And of course, Go4Mobility and our wholesale department is a key player because we have the integrations, the interconnections with mobile operators. We can manage numbering, we can manage interconnection, we can manage integration between our gateway and our clients' services. So this is very interesting because we can deliver a complete solution to our customer, and with no worries, the service is put it online and working just as expected.
So you mentioned the word solutions, which is, where the industry wants to go to, it's providing the package almost. And you also are well known for offering some of those solutions for verticals. And I can mention probably events, healthcare, finance. Can you give us an example of how a solution would look for some of these? How do you put it together? What does the solution for events or healthcare looks like?
So, for instance, healthcare, we can take the both part of managing two business units and have complementary solutions, because on the corporate side, we can deliver a platform for our customer to interact with their users. So it can be using an SMS or an email or a voice marketing platform to send their traffic. And on the wholesale side, we can provide the connections with quality, with pricing, with performance, just as expected for volumes, high volumes, or for transactional one-to-one interaction between brands and customers. So this is what we do and what we can aggregate in terms of value to our customers, because on one side we can provide platforms and services to be used directly by users or integrated in their legacy systems, and on the other side, the wholesale side, we can manage all the bureaucracy in terms of contacting the local regulators, in terms of handling connections with mobile carriers and other SMS or voice aggregators to provide the routes with quality and performance just as expected. So one use case is that I mentioned, confirmation of medical appointments, for instance. This is something that we explored here in Portugal a lot and exported to African regions as well, where we saw that with the confirmation, the health institutions, they will have huge savings in terms of their medical agenda. So they won't be having doctors on pause without any patients to attend. So this is something that we developed, we implemented, we talked with huge health groups here in Portugal that instantly saw what we had to offer and what will be the advantages of using these kind of solutions. And we just got there and implemented it end to end. So we provided platforms, we provided the integrations, and we provided the routes for the traffic to flow just as expected. So this is a one example of use case that has a significant impact in terms of savings for our customer, and in terms of let's say technologically integration and interaction from customers with the brands, that is very, very important.
Hugo, you mentioned at the beginning, and I spotted something that it's an unfortunate part of the business, or many business, which is the bad players. The issues we have seen on smishing, spam, artificial traffic, on wholesale traffic. You also say that you are actively protecting that. So what can we do? What do you do? And what can we do as an industry to stop the bad externalities, the bad fraudsters out there?
Well, this is something that concerns us every day, because, as I mentioned, global coverage and pricing, it's essential in this wholesale business. But of course, quality and protection and ensuring that only reliable traffic will pass through us, it's one key item for customers to trust us. Okay, so this is something that from the beginning concerned us, and our IT team from the beginning, has been developing multiple features in our platform to detect spam and phishing traffic. But once again, we can try to fight them, but they will exist. So what we need to do is to give maximum protection to our customers. So we pay very special attention to this, and from our perspective, brands should communicate effectively with their customers. If they are doing spam, if they are doing this kind of traffic, it's not good for the business, because we might see an increase in volumes at some point, but brands will then see later that they are only spending money, and the money is not well conducted to return in terms of sales. So from this perspective, placing every kind of protection against this kind of traffic is essential for us. And we try to do this, as I mentioned, internally with software development, and externally by contracting services in the market with customers that are specialized in this kind of threats. Okay.
So you develop tools, but also you develop a family of suppliers and others that are trustworthy.
Yes, an ecosystem that can provide trust and ensure reliability to our customers. And this is something that we do, and we pay attention on a daily basis, because our routing team is always trying to explore different routes and trying to understand if the traffic is legit and it can pass through our gateways. Because once again, one of the key advantages of using Go4Mobility is that we have good relationship and we have a deep understanding about the market all over these almost 20 years of existence. And since we talk a lot with local regulators, we talk a lot with all the mobile operators where we are connected to, we know how the market works, we know what are the constraints, we know what are the traffic that can be passing and considered legit. So for us, it's very important to ensure that traffic that flows by Go4Mobility has quality and is flowing as expected in terms of traffic type to our suppliers, either they being another SMS or voice aggregators or directly mobile operators.
Now, Hugo, perspectives, we have this little belief that our vision reflects our path. So how we got here is as important as where we're going next. You've been the general manager for Wholesale Go4Mobility for 5 years, but you've been a long time in the group, and you started first as a software engineer and then as a head of development. Now, some of the other people that I talk to in the A2P industry kind of come from a routine background in sometimes telecom, but a lot of sales as well on the wholesale side. So how specific is your view on software development? How important it is for Go4Mobility right now? Because, do you use it? Do you use that experience in your day-to-day job?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So it helps a lot because, when we have technical discussions internally about where to move, what to improve, what to pay attention in the market, it's of course more easier to understand those technical details and challenges that are addressing our market and globally the A2P messaging as well. So this background gave me the opportunity to not only being able to develop business, but also to complement that business development with technology effectiveness. So what I mean is that we are able to understand better what are the marketing needs in today, but also what are the technical challenges that needs to be addressed. Just like we mentioned before in terms of fraud, scams, this is something that we are paying attention, and the technical background helps a lot identifying those solutions and contributing to improving our solutions as well.
Now let's stay on your career and your experience, because you worked 16 years in this market and with this company. Can I ask you what's the reflections on what has changed in that? Those have been, the 16 years of business messaging, pretty much. That's a big chunk of its lifetime of this service.
Yes.
What has changed? How is it in comparison to when you started? You now can say that's completely different.
Yes. Well, essentially, all kinds of brands and entities are more efficient today communicating through different channels. So at the beginning, I assisted more marketing campaigns and traffic being sent only for marketing purposes. And all over the years, I saw that companies were evolving technologically. And that evolution allowed them to not only use different communication channels, but use it more efficiently. Okay. And for purposes distinct from the beginning. So if at the beginning, an usual retail brand, for instance, would use our services just for sending marketing campaigns like in Black Friday or special events like that, today they use still for the same purpose, okay, but they are capable of using part of the traffic being sent by SMS, part of it being sent by email, for instance, or on other communication channels. But they also complement their digital communication strategy for operational purposes as well. So shopping confirmation, shopping cart reminders, either by SMS or by email. So that's the kind of evolution that I assisted all over these years. So moving from an initial more towards marketing campaigns to a mix of marketing traffic and also operational daily operational traffic for all kind of services and brands. And this is cross-sector. So I see this in health, I see this in banks, I see this in retail brands, I see in all kinds of industries that today consider that digital communication is essential, but it needs to be done efficiently. So this is where we try to answer, and this is what we try to cover, to give them not only platforms, but also APIs, connections, every kind of integration possible for our customers to communicate efficiently with their customers. So this is crucial to us, and this is, from my perspective, what is correct. And our challenge from now on is to keep improving not only our solutions, but to keep improving our coverage and keep improving the number of communication channels that we can provide for brands to interact. And ultimately, brands have this own challenge of answering their customer needs. So if a customer needs to or wants to communicate with the brand using WhatsApp or using SMS, the brand should adequate its behavior to that need. So this is where we also try to be a partner and to be some company that gives the flexibility and coverage for all communication channels.
Well, I mean, very interesting. We'll be moving then from marketing use cases to customer experience use cases. I mean, that's much wider now. What happens is it's huge. We finished the time, but I'm still going to try to squeeze the last fast question to you. So there is now a new generation of people that are entering this market, changing this market as it is to something else. If you were to give them some advice to somebody today joining a business messaging company out there, what would that be?
Well, of course, the business development, the sales perspective is very important. But I think that someone entering in this business today needs to be tech savvy. So it needs to have some expertise in technology. I don't mean a deep expertise in technology, but it needs to be paying constantly attention to technology evolution because it's very fast. It happens every day. And of course, one key skill that is essential to develop business in this area, perhaps mostly important in the wholesale business, is to have the ability to establish good relationship with the customers and partners. So this is essential because once again we can have better pricing, we can have better solutions, but part of the business is still being done by relationship and by trust, and this is an image that a professional in this area needs to develop and needs to develop to its company as well. So every person entering in this business right now needs to develop those relationship skills and needs to develop that confidence that using company and using company's services will add value to the business that is using it. So it's very important, those skills.
Okay, so you need people skills, but you need to also know enough about that software technology elements now, which is built in on top. So prepare on both. Well, Hugo, that's all the time we've got now, but thanks for taking us through a bit of a run on not just what Go4Mobility does, but also the different markets, the different application and use cases we're seeing emerging there. So thank you very much for this week. This is all. So thank you, Hugo.
Thank you.
We will speak soon again. Come back at Perspective, a podcast from the Mobile Ecosystem Forum. But for us today, that's all. Speak soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Perspectives in Mobile. Join us next as we explore telecoms, technology, and mobile innovations. Stay tuned, stay connected, and let's unlock the mobile potential together.